Is the puppy here? Oh my goodness. Good morning, Past Bing, and good morning, Emily. I'm 29. On the 5th of May, I celebrated my 29th birthday. And although so far it hasn't looked exactly how I thought 29 would be, I've done a lot of stuff. I finally recorded a new episode of UC with Ed.
Just got a little bone to pick with you about the series. Just a tiny little niggle. In the final episode, you did some crediting of people, didn't you? Yeah. You kind of went through and you said, special thanks to all my guests. You named your sister Jennifer twice. My name wasn't on there. My name wasn't on there at all, and I don't think I'm alone. I've been told that you missed a few people because, if I'm not mistaken, you were pissed as you wrote those.
Oh, yeah. So, okay. You got to understand.
Someone's got some splaining to do.
I saw Endgame. Well, that was pretty good. Then I spent a few days at home, and I took Mixland with me. I was doing a time lapse and my camera fell off the desk. I'm such a professional! The other day I met up with my friend Claire, who I first met in 2018 at Edinburgh Fringe Festival when she was performing her show See-Through, which is all about online video and the phenomenon of wanting to be a YouTuber. In a couple of days when you meet Claire Gaydon, it's going to look a bit like this.
Oh, hey! Hey, how's it going?
It's going real good.
Oh, good.
And this week we caught up in Lloyd Park, Walthamstow, and talked shop about YouTube. So that's it rolling. Yeah.
Hey.
So I just got finished filming some stuff with... Whoa, hey camera, what do you want to look at? So we just finished shooting some stuff for Claire's Twitter to promote See-Through, which is a show that I first saw. You are about to see, Past Bing, for the first time at Fringe. This is someone that you don't know yet, Past Bing, but you're about to.
One of the things that I'm really interested in the show is that it looks at theatre makers as well. I actually think there's quite a strong similarity between YouTubers and theatre makers, artists who create autobiographical material. And it looks at kind of like, obviously when you share, you connect, and that's a really beautiful thing, but it's like anything, it's kind of on a spectrum, and it's important to have boundaries, and it's important that you set those boundaries.
The boundaries thing is important. Like I film my life, but there are some things I don't talk about. Because I learned quite early on that I needed to have some boundaries. Otherwise it was gonna start getting weird. And your show explores what happens when you cross that line.
Do you remember the moment when you felt like you crossed that line?
I would say I have not crossed that line.
Right.
I think personally, I have never shared something I didn't want to share. Because very early on, I realized I needed to have that. I said to myself, like, I'm just going to have like certain areas of my life we're not going to talk about, or we're going to talk, if we do talk about it, very, very vaguely.
You've been tempted?
Yeah. There's, like right now, there's stuff about my housing situation that I don't want to talk about. That's personal. That's too personal for the internet, and it's just not going to be...
Oh, you make it sound like there's something really juicy going on.
It's just not going to, it's nothing juicy. It's just like there is a limit. I'll talk about it in general. And then I'll move on. That's enough. There's enough to make sense, in a way to tell a story.
Yeah.
But beyond that, you, the audience, don't need to know. At this point, it has been 2 months since the end of PBFB 2019, and about 2.5 months since I lost the flat I was going to move into. And you might just notice that I am still in Matt and Katy's attic. But I have a very, very good reason. For the last 2.5 months, I have been trying to buy an apartment. Now, I know what you're saying. I can hear you over the internet. But Bing, you're 29. It's 2019 and you're a young person. No fucking way you can buy a house. Get your fucking head out of your butt. And you'd be right. Here's what happened, okay? Here's what happened. I lost that apartment. It was gonna be good. It wasn't great, but it was gonna be good. And I was very excited to live in it and spend an extortionate amount of money renting it. But it fell through, and it spun my life into this limbo that I've been living in for a couple of months. And with the help of Matt and Katy and other friends and family around me, I was able to get set up here and take some time and really think about my options. And I did that. And remember in PBFB 2017 when I was talking about learning how to do my finances and getting all my savings straight and really working on my personal financial situation? You devoured those books and you weren't afraid to read things that people might scoff at or think were too boring. And then you took action. You reorganized all your finances. You swapped banks. You closed all your accounts. You opened new ones. You closed cards. You organized your direct debits. You got organized with keeping your accounts up to date and understanding what you were spending. You adulted real good past Bing. You adulted so good. And I stopped for a moment after all the dust had settled and all my stuff had gone into storage. And I realized, hey, maybe I could do this. Maybe I could make a go of buying, not renting, getting out of this shit show forever. Here's the thing though, I quickly learned that it is not just about how much money you have. At a certain point, it is about 100 million other little things that you cannot control. So back in March when I decided to try and do this, I got in touch with a broker recommended to me by Matt and Katy. His name was Julian, lovely guy. Julian, very nice. Julian let me down. After about a month of back and forth and getting all my paperwork together and going back into storage and pulling stuff out and photocopying stuff and sending things over and having these long conversations on the phone, when it was actually looking fairly positive, I got a call from Julian saying it wasn't going to happen. I was trying to go at it an unusual way, admittedly, and just 100 little things added up to lenders basically saying, no, he's too risky. That sucked, and that really knocked the steam out of me. And I came home and I had a little cry. And I wallowed for an hour or so. And then I got back on the horse. Take two, okay? All those things that I had previously crossed off the table, they were back. And if I couldn't get a house the normal way, then fuck it, I was gonna make it happen some other way. As luck would have it, a set of new apartments were being built just down the road, and they had just come on the market using this government subsidized system called Share to Buy. Essentially what happens is you buy part of it, and then you rent the other part until you can afford to buy it. And just right now, okay, I'm living and breathing this shit, and I don't want to see your opinions in the comments. None of this. Just support, please. So take two. This is a Saturday, and I go on the website, and man, they're beautiful. They're gorgeous. They're exactly what I need. I call them up. I arrange a viewing that day. I'm like, damn, this is cool. Thanks, Georgia. Georgia's the lady that showed me the apartment. I have got to have one of these apartments. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna get this apartment. So we start the entire process again. The only upside is that a lot of the paperwork that I would need, I already have collected. But that means meeting with new brokers, finding a new list of lenders, doing it all from scratch, but in a slightly different way. So I initially call the new brokers. I speak to this lovely guy called Mitch. Mitch is skeptic at first, and then I explain my situation, and I make it very clear that I'm not gonna leave him alone until I get this apartment. Eventually, I think Mitch starts to like me, because the second time we speak on the phone, he starts getting pretty excited himself. He's sounding pretty jazzed about getting me an apartment. Because of the way that it works with a new build, after that call, he gives me the green light to pay a reservation fee to reserve the plot that I want. Yes, thank you, Janet. I'll see you then. Thank you. Plot. Yes! Plot 180 is mine. It's mine, pending actually getting a mortgage. Then comes the IRL meeting with my new brokers, which actually goes pretty well. Meeting with the new broker went well. I should hear back by the end of today about one lender. So, fingers crossed. On the 10th of May, my phone lights up with an email saying that I officially have an agreement in principle from the first lender we were going to try. For those of you not familiar with the system, that is essentially a letter that says, we would be happy to lend this person this money. A thing that says, look, somebody will give me a mortgage, and it lets you, like, then go forward with buying a house. Of course, if this whole experience has taught me anything, it's that you need to be cautiously optimistic, because it can still fall through. It could still not happen after agreement in principle. It can still die. They might have given me the agreement in principle, but then, you know, they do the credit check and they look at all my credit cards, and then they like call up all my family and friends and old girlfriends, and they go to places I've lived in the past, and they do DNA swabs, and they check my iTunes history and what I watch on Netflix, and they don't like what they see. I could still not get it. But woo, which brings us to today, the here and now. Remember in the last Future Bing epilogue I was talking about all this waiting that I was doing? Well, I'm back to that. And this is the worst waiting of all. There's just nothing to do until I get that final confirmation. When I have that, we're cooking with gas. When that comes through, I get the apartment of my dreams. But until I get that final decision, I just sit here waiting, watching Game of Thrones for the first time. It's all right. I'm gonna get it. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. I have to live in this apartment. I have to believe that it is going to happen. I have to believe that I have spent 3 months in the wilderness for a reason. Also, as if I didn't have incentive enough, the heat's really on, because Matt and Katy aren't here today. They're driving to a farm in the countryside to pick up their new puppy. I have to get out.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, daily feeding amounts is 60. 16 grams a day.
There's already a couple of additional things I'm thinking of.
Yeah. He's so much bigger than when we saw him 2 weeks ago. He was a proper baby, and now he's like a toddler almost.
Yeah.
I picked him up and I was like, you're so big.
No.
It is truly an injustice how fast they grow up, though. Dogs they're a puppy for like a blink of an eye.
Are you gonna go eat Matt's hair?
Oh,
No.
man, he's off.
No.
Just 100. My new project is just 100 videos of your dog. Hello.